You're good. I was just working with multiple screens. So,
Good.
hi, I'm so happy to be here this evening, and we're so happy to be able to talk to you about Humphreys University and the MBA IT program. And it is truly a pleasure to work with all of you at Go Elite. You are just outstanding international education professionals, and it means a lot to work with such high quality agents. And I can speak from experience. So it really is an outstanding service that you offer to students. So I am going to start to talk to you all about the program, the MBA IT program at Humphreys University. So just give me 1 second and I will get my screen going.
Okay. In this minute, a student can submit their question in the Q&A section.
Great. So are you seeing what you need to see?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. So I'm here to talk to you today about Humphreys University and how Go Elite can help you become enrolled in the program, and as a partner also with HMS. So a little bit about Humphreys University. It is a prestigious private not-for-profit university. It is regionally accredited, which is so important to remember since that's the highest level of accreditation that a university can have. It's located in Stockton, California, which is in a beautiful region in Northern California. It has been around for over 100 years. It has played a major role in California's higher education system. It's an excellent environment for growth. One of the things we really appreciate about Humphreys University is its size. So while it has been around for over 100 years, it is still a small size university, which will afford you really personalized service. It does have a law school. It's very well known for its education program, and then also obviously for business, which is what we'll be talking about today. It offers degrees and resources that help students launch their career path. And with that MBA IT, with Day One CPT, we've really amped up the benefits to your career path. So Humphreys offers, the full range of degrees from associates to bachelor's, but we're going to be talking about the master's today. And it is on the quarter system. So that might be something that you're not quite as familiar with, but that is 4 sessions per year, as opposed to maybe the traditional 2 semesters that you're accustomed to. We find that is very convenient for international students. It is ranked 29th in the US by US News and World Report, and for universities in the West, and 37th in the nation for social mobility. So that's very positive. So a little bit more about Humphreys is I talked to you about the location. It is in San Joaquin County, California. As I said, it's beautiful. The location of the university itself is lovely, even though students are only there for 1 weekend, 4 times a year. It is a really nice environment to be around. And if you're able to plan some additional time to do some travel, it's certainly something that I plan on doing on future visits, and I would encourage you to do so as well. So accreditation, of course, that is so important, and that's something that we always emphasize to students. It's accredited by Wasc, which is the Senior College and University Commission. That's regional accreditation, and that's what you really want to pay attention to. Of course, the other colleges in the university are also accredited, the law school, and then the education program as well. Some of the things about rankings, many students are really concerned with that. US News has recognized it, as I mentioned before, as one of the best regional colleges in the West. And that's something to remember too. Sometimes students ask, why isn't it one of the top ranking colleges and universities? And there are so many factors involved in that. And one of them is size. So when you are a smaller university, you're going to be ranked based on things like region. And so that's a high distinction. It's also considered a top performer in social mobility. It's an affordable master's degree, which we think is so important, especially with international students. More on affordability with the point of number 3 in terms of affordability in California, and then a best value. So I think we've definitely emphasized the affordability of the program. The Master's of Business Administration with an IT concentration is new. It's something that we've just started in the past year, and it also has CPT, which we know you are focused on. That's important to you. But with the IT concentration, we're looking at computational sciences, data sciences, and information systems engineering and management. So the structure of the program is really important. So it's full-time and it's hybrid. So it's your online and your offline in-person on campus. The entire program is 56 credits, and you'll be enrolled in the program for 27 months. The CPT Internship Experience is integral. It's integrated into the curriculum, and it is mandatory for students. And one of the things that we love about this is that you are, as a student, authorized to begin your CPT as early as day 1, and in some circumstances, even earlier. So that ensures that you will not have any gaps in your employment if you're someone who is coming off of OPT, or if you're continuing in a CPT from another program. The program was specifically designed for students like you. On occasion, we can waive the CPT, but that's a case-by-case thing. And the majority of our students, that's what you're actually looking for. If this is your first master's degree and you're very interested in the optional practical training, the post-completion component, we can help you with that. We can give you the requirements, and that is a great opportunity after graduation. And since it is a STEM designated program, you have the opportunity for 1 year post-completion OPT, and then those 2 years of STEM OPT afterwards. So another fantastic opportunity there. 4 weekends a year, students are going to come to that Stockton campus, and on a Saturday and Sunday, they're going to attend their classes in person with their professors, and then they're going to meet their classmates. So all of those are really valuable experiences. The course schedule is outlined here. The last thing you want me to do is to go through that course schedule with you, but you can see that it's listed, and you can access that in information in links that we provide to you in our emails and also on the Humphreys University website. But you can kind of get a quick view of those courses, the basic foundational courses in the MBA, and then the IT specialization. We do have 2 start dates coming up in 2022. We have summer coming down the road. You could enroll in that. We have an orientation beginning June 30th, and then you would be on campus July 5th and 6th. And then the rest of the time, you would be taking your classes online. If you're not ready to begin your programs in June and July, we also have a fall start date. We do our orientation online, which is incredibly efficient. And then we do our classes on campus for that weekend on Saturday and Sunday, October 3rd and 4th. And then we'll have another calendar rollout of the start dates for winter, spring, summer, and fall again. So 4 start dates, which also is incredibly convenient for you if you're, concerned about being able to transfer from your OPT or your latest program. We're also, so when I was first talking to you, you saw all those accolades for affordable. And you can see that when you look at the tuition. So 4 semesters per year, 4 quarters. See, I'm even not used to saying quarters, but 4 quarters per year. And the tuition is $3,000 a quarter. So you're going to be paying $21,000 per year. CPT is included. You don't pay any extra for that. And it's $3,000 per quarter. You're asking right now, you're doing math and you're saying, you just said there's 4 quarters. How is it 21,000? We'll explain how that works later on when we get into the details. But that's the basic structure, $3,000 per quarter. It's really conveniently located. Justin and I have been to the campus a number of times. It's very close to some different airports. So you can fly into Sacramento, you can fly into San Francisco, San Jose. If you're in California, then it would be a convenient drive to you. And then if you're located in Las Vegas or Phoenix, you've got a direct flight into Stockton. But we found it very convenient to get to the campus, and the drive from Sacramento and the nearby airports is actually quite beautiful. If you're not looking at your phone on the way, it's really a beautiful drive. So application requirements obviously are important. If you're coming from an undergraduate or even a graduate program, we're looking at a 2.75 GPA at a minimum. We find that the majority of our students are probably a lot like you. Their GPA is much higher than that, but it is a nice entry point. There is a proof of English proficiency. But if you're a transfer student, you've already studied in the US, then you don't have to worry about a TOEFL or IELTS or Duolingo. If you're coming from outside of the US, that's where your degree was earned, then you do have that proof of English proficiency. When we send you information about the program, we include a link to a DocuSign application. Go Elite will help you with that. And that's how you'll complete your application form. Of course, there are documents to submit, but it's a really efficient process. And we really like that about the Humphreys program. Of course, you need a passport. If you're in the country, we need your visa, your I-20, your I-94. And then, the US government requires a financial statement. So we do need that, which is just a year's of tuition and living expenses, and that's $26,000. So I've pretty much gone through the basics about the history of Humphreys University, the specific program that we're working with the MBA IT, some advantages of the CPT, the basics of the application requirement, and then the way that you can work with Go Elite to apply to the program. We're looking forward to hearing your questions, and we're hoping that this is a program that you'll find that will work for you. We would love to welcome you in the summer or the fall or in 2023 if that's what you're planning for. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Carla. So now let's share the screen for the Q&A section that students submitted. Can you see my screen? Okay, so there are a lot of questions that students submitted. The first one is, I have read the CPT-1 program's influence on getting H-1B visas later. Is it true?
That's a great question. First of all, let me just say thank you, Celine, for having us. And Carla, that was a great explanation of Humphreys University and the MBA IT program. I think students will find that very beneficial and helpful. So jumping into the questions now, CPT programs are not related to your H-1B application. Your H-1B application is a work visa that's sponsored by your employer. However, we do have several students every year who receive their H-1B visa while participating in CPT at Humphreys University. So it is, I wouldn't say that it helps you get your H-1B visa, but it's a great opportunity to show that you are maintaining your status in the US. You're gaining experience while you're studying, which is a huge benefit of curricular practical training and participating in CPT while you study.
And if you don't mind, I know this is just inside, but if you don't mind me jumping in, when you talk about the CPT and its influence on your H-1B, when you consider that you're actually working with an organization for 2 years, this gives them the opportunity almost to, you could say, to test drive you as an employee. And this gives them the chance to see your value and then to make that decision, possibly to support you with H-1B. So it's really an outstanding opportunity. I'm going to try to be quiet.
Thank you, Carla and Justin. And the next question is it required to be on-site for the MBA IT program? Tuition fees? And may I pause during the program, how many courses required per semester?
Those are some great questions. Let me attack those one at a time. First of all, is it required to be on-site for the MBA IT program? Yes, as Carla explained, the MBA IT program is delivered in a hybrid format, which requires both face-to-face instruction as well as online participation in the program. The MBA IT program is super convenient. You only are required to attend a 2-day weekend session on campus once per quarter. So you're on campus about once every 3 months, right? And again, it's only 2 days every 3 months. You can live and work anywhere in the country and simply travel to campus for that weekend session. So it's very convenient. The tuition is the same every quarter. It's $3,000 per quarter. May I pause during the program? That's a great question. As Carla mentioned previously, the program is on the quarter system. So technically speaking, there are 4 quarters per year. However, the program only requires you to be enrolled 3 quarters per year. You will have a mandatory annual vacation in your 4th and 7th quarter. So after you've completed 3 quarters, you'll take a quarter off. And then after you complete 3 more quarters, you'll take another quarter off. So you will have those breaks built into your program, which is very convenient. During those breaks, you will continue to have CPT authorization, which is also very convenient for international students who are participating in CPT. How many courses are required per semester? You will take 2 courses per semester. Again, both of those courses are taught in a hybrid format. So when you're on campus for the weekend session, one of those days will be dedicated to one of those courses, and the other day will be dedicated to the other course in terms of face-to-face instruction. And the rest of the time during the quarter, you'll participate with your classmates online through the university's learning management system called Moodle.
Thank you. The next question is, for Humphreys, can I use CPT before the program start date and the CPT agreement can be waived?
Yes, so as Carla explained previously, CPT is an integral part of the program. It's actually required. And you will have CPT authorization for the duration of the 2-year program. In some cases, as Carla mentioned, students that are coming off of OPT or maybe transferring from another CPT program at a different university may need to start CPT early to avoid gaps in their employment authorization so that they can maintain their employment and be able to meet the requirement at Humphreys University. In those cases, you can start CPT up to 30 days before the program's start date. There are companies like Google or Amazon or other large companies that from time to time, their policies don't allow them to sign formal CPT agreement with the university. In those cases, the DSO at the university will work with you to obtain a letter from your company on official letterhead that includes information about your employment, your start date, who your supervisor is, how many hours you're working, that type of information, and that will suffice in place of the CPT form if your company's policy does not allow for them to sign a CPT form.
Okay. The next question is, do I need a thesis or exam for graduation?
That's a good question. So one of the unique things about the CP or the MBAIT program at Humphreys University is that the coursework is experiential, meaning that you're completing all of the coursework and the requirements throughout the program instead of waiting till the end to do a thesis or take final exams. So you're completing all of your projects, your classwork, your presentations, you're writing papers, all of that is being done throughout the program, which creates experiential learning instead of putting that off to the end. So there is no thesis or final exams at the end of your program for graduation.
Okay. The next question is, can I apply to start CPT before the school start date?
Yes, you can start CPT up to 30 days before the program start date if needed.
Okay, great. The next question is the online class live or can we arrange our own study time?
That's a good question. So we understand that as professionals, you're busy, you're working, perhaps you're living all over the country in different time zones. So during the times that you're not on campus, you'll be participating in the class online. The online participation can be done at your own, on your own schedule. There are no scheduled, I guess, face-to-face times when you have to log in at the same time as your other classmates. The only scheduled class time is during the weekend sessions. The rest of the time you can work at your own pace online.
Okay, the next question is credit transferring allowed? If so, what is the policy for transferring the credit?
So because of the cohort format of the MBAIT program in which students follow a predetermined course schedule, we don't typically allow transfer credits for the MBAIT program. However, if that's something that you're interested in, you can communicate directly with the university registrar to see if that's an option for you.
Okay, the next question is it possible to waive the CPT agreement? I think we answered this question in previous question. So
right.
Jump to the next one. How often do we need to renew our CPT?
So CPT can be authorized for up to 12 months at a time per USCIS regulations. So when you start the program, you'll apply for CPT and the DSO will issue your I-20 for 12 months. At the end of those 12 months, you will get a new updated I-20 with new CPT dates for the remainder or for the next 12 months.
Okay, that's convenient. The next question is, if I want to graduate sooner, how many courses I will be allowed to take for each quarter, like maximum course load or international student?
So unfortunately, it's not possible to complete the program ahead of schedule. The MBAIT program is taught in a cohort format, so you'll follow a predetermined course schedule and you'll go through the program with your cohort of peers. So each semester or each quarter, rather, you'll take 2 courses. And again, you'll take 3 quarters per year with the 4th and 7th quarter being annual breaks.
Okay, so the next one is, what is the meaning of the Wasc warning? Is it a big issue for accredited university?
That's a great question, and it's something that Carla alluded to previously. Accreditation is very important, and it's important for international students to make sure that universities are accredited and that they meet the requirements for F1 visa holders. As Carla mentioned previously, Humphreys University is regionally accredited by Wasc, and regional accreditation is the highest level of accreditation that a university can have in the US. So the university is fully accredited. From time to time, universities will have a review from the accrediting body. That's a normal procedure. And at times they may get a warning or a notice about things that they need to improve in order to maintain their accreditation. that's a regular process that universities go through, and it's not uncommon. In the most recent accreditation review, Humphreys University did receive some warnings on things that they need to improve. Again, that's not uncommon for universities. That's a normal process of the accrediting process. So the university has 2 years to resolve those issues. Again, they are minor issues. The university anticipates that they'll be resolved in less than a year. So there's nothing to be worried about in terms of accreditation of the university. During that process, while the university works to resolve those warnings, it remains fully accredited. So there's no need to worry about whether or not the university is accredited.
Okay, thank you for the clear explanation. The next question is, what is the frequency of on-site classes?
So you'll be on campus one weekend, Saturday and Sunday per quarter. The weekend sessions are held the first weekend after the start of classes. So for example, classes start on July 5th, and you will be required to be on campus on July 8th and 9th, which is the first Saturday and Sunday of the weekend of the quarter. So you do only just have to go one weekend per quarter, so every 3 months.
Okay, the next question is, can international students apply for the scholarship?
So there are currently no merit-based scholarships in the MBA-IT program at Humphreys University. However, the tuition cost is extremely low, which I think you'll find very enticing. Compared to other master's degree programs in the US, it's very affordable at only $3,000 per quarter. And again, because you're only going 3 quarters per year, with the 4th and 7th quarter being annual breaks, your annual tuition is only $9,000 per year. So it's very affordable. Another benefit of the program is that integral CPT, or curricular practical training, which allows you to obtain paid employment off campus in a career field that's related to your area of study. So we find that that's very attractive to international students because it helps you to offset the cost of the program and make it much more affordable to participate in the program. Our students graduate from the program debt-free. They pay for the tuition, throughout the program, so they're not taking out student loans or anything like that. So it's a very affordable program, and you can graduate again debt-free with the career experience that you gain through CPT.
Okay, the next question is there a high rate of being RFE?
That's a great question. So RFE is request for evidence, and that's related to H-1B visas. In terms of there being a high rate, I don't really have an answer for that because that's up to the government. That it really doesn't have anything to do with the university. However, if you do get an RFE during your H-1B application, the university can support you by providing documentation about your enrollment in the university, how you've maintained your F1 status by attending the weekend sessions and getting the mandatory face-to-face hours. They can provide information about your CPT participation and everything that you've done to maintain your compliance with F1 regulations while you've been enrolled at the university.
Okay. The next question is there any remedy if I don't attend in-person class on time?
So the weekend sessions are mandatory. As you know, as an F1 visa holder, you are required to have a certain number of face-to-face instruction hours. And because of the hybrid format of the weekend of the program, those weekend sessions really compress those face-to-face hours into a very short period of time. So instead of spreading them out over the whole quarter, you're getting all of your face-to-face instruction hours in a single weekend. So it's not possible to miss those weekend sessions. You should plan well in advance to travel to campus and attend those weekend sessions. If there is a medical emergency, the university can work with you on an alternate solution, but those weekend sessions are mandatory and you should make every effort to arrive on time and attend the full weekend session.
Okay, the next question is, I plan to enroll in the fall semester. Is it possible to make the MBA IT STEM concentration when I graduate? I do not want to apply for CPT, but I want to apply for STEM OPT.
So that's a great question. I'm assuming this student has not already done OPT at the master's level. If they have not done OPT at the master's level and they want to, then what they will need to do is limit their full-time CPT, which is more than 20 hours per week, to 11 months, 29 days, or less than 1 year. The rest of the time in the program, you'll need to do part-time CPT. That way you can still qualify for OPT after graduation. As Carla mentioned previously, the MBA IT program is STEM designated. So there's nothing that you need to do to make it a STEM concentration. It already is a STEM designated program. So again, if you've already done OPT at the master's level, you can't do it again. But if you haven't and you want to, you just need to limit your full-time CPT to less than 1 year.
Okay, so the next question is, I work at Google as a software development engineer, and how should I write the CPT agreement job description to be relevant to the MBA IT courses?
That's a good question, and I think we can probably help you better on a case-by-case basis because every company is a little bit different. But just as a rule of thumb, the letter from your company, like Google is one of those companies that doesn't like to sign the CPT form. The letter needs to be on official letterhead. It should be signed by your supervisor and dated. It should include information about your job title, your employment dates when you started, your job description, and it should include information about that the company understands that your employment is through CPT at Humphreys University.
Okay, the next question is, can I take a break after 3 quarters of study? If yes, can I still apply for CPT during the semester break?
So the way that the program is set up, you have built-in annual breaks. You'll have a break in your 4th quarter and your 7th quarter. You can't take breaks outside of that. They're already built into your program. So just plan ahead. And as I mentioned previously, during those annual breaks, you will have CPT authorization so you can continue to work even during that quarter off.
Okay, the next question is, what if my cumulated GPA is below 3.0? Can I still apply for CPT?
That's a great question. So Carla went over the admission requirements previously. The university requires a minimum GPA of 2.75 for admission to the MBA IT program. If you are admitted, again, you can start CPT from day one. However, once you are enrolled in the program, the university does require that you maintain a minimum GPA of 3.0 to remain in good standing in the program. If your GPA drops below 3.0, you will be put on academic probation and may be in jeopardy of dismissal from the program. So it is important that you, again, prioritize your studies. I know that you'll be participating in CPT, which is important to a lot of students, but the academic component is the #1 priority, and you should always, make sure that you're maintaining your GPA above 3.0.
Okay, the next question is, can we choose more classes to extend the duration of the program?
Currently, that's not an option. By the time you finish your program in 27 months, the university may have additional courses or other programs that you can choose from, but currently that is not an option.
Okay, the next question is, I am a current student at Humphreys. Will the warning affect my study, and how will the university resolve the warning issue?
That's a good question. So the accreditation warning does not affect you as a student. It doesn't affect your F1 status. Again, it's just a warning of things that the university need to address in order to maintain their accreditation. They have 2 years to resolve those issues, and the university believes that they will resolve them in under a year. Again, during this period, the university remains fully accredited, so there's nothing for you to worry about as an F1 student at the university.
Okay, good. The next question is, how many warning of Humphreys received so far after the university is WASC accredited?
I don't know the exact answer to that question, actually. I don't know how many warnings there were, but I know that they were minor warnings that the university believes can be resolved in less than a year. And again, while they work to resolve those, the university remains fully accredited.
If I could jump in, and again, I think it's really important, although they are designated as warnings. That sounds so serious, but really you would look at them as recommendations. They are things that the university does have to change, but they're recommendations to improve the university. To my knowledge, there were 3 areas, and none of them impacted students. None of them impacted the quality of the program, the MBA IT program. And as Justin has said to you, it in no way affects your status as an F1 student. Again, these are things that this is all about continual improvement. That's what the accreditation process is. It is about continuous improvement. So it's not a negative thing, even though we seem to feel like it might be. It's a way for Humphreys University to get better. And as Justin has said, they have 2 years to do that. And they anticipate that they will have that done in less than 1. And again, I think it's 3 areas and nothing to do with curriculum, your program specifically, and the whole time they are fully accredited. And we can't emphasize that enough.
Thank you, Carla.
Thank you. The next question is, why Humphreys University received a warning from WASC? Could you introduce more details of the warning, like the scope and the seriousness of the warning? And I am accepted, but a little bit concerned right now.
So I think Carla kind of addressed that in her response. Again, they're recommendations from the accrediting body of things that the university can do to improve as a university and maintain its accreditation. They are not issues that affect the student experience or the curriculum or the quality of education that you'll receive at Humphreys University. It's nothing that would affect your F1 status as a student. And so these are things that the university is working to improve internally, and again, plans to be resolved within less than a year. And the university remains fully accredited while they work through those recommendations.
Okay, thank you, Justin and Carla. We are honored to have you today, and we are allowed to have a deeper understanding of Humphreys University. And for students, if you are interested in, we have this whole info section recorded, and also the Q&A question organized into lists. Please scan the QR code on the right side if you want to get more information. And thank you again today, Howard and Carla. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Take care.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
It is. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.